The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, is a loosely defined region in the western part of North Atlantic Ocean, where a number of aircraft and ships are said to have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. According to the US Navy, the triangle does not exist and the name is not recognized by the US Board on Geographic Names. Documented evidence indicates that a significant percentage of indicans were spurious, inaccurately reported or embellished by later authors. Popular culture has attributed various disappearances to the paranormal activity by extraterrestrial beings. The first written boundaries date from an article by Vincent Geddes in 1964 issue of the pulp magazine Argosy, where the triangle's three vertices are in Miami, Florida, Puerto Rico and in the mid-Atlantic island of Bermuda. But subsequent writers did not follow this definition. Some writers give different boundaries and vertices to the triangle, with the total area varying from
1,300,000 to 3,900,000 square kilometers.
Thank you. Consequently, the determination of which accidents have occurred inside the triangle depends on which writer reports them. The United States Board on Geographic Names does not recognize this name, and is not delimited in any map drawn by US government agencies. The area is one of the most heavily traveled shipping lanes in the world, with ships crossing through it daily for ports in America, Europe and the Caribbean islands. Cruise ships are also plentiful, and pleasure craft regularly go back and forth between Florida and the islands. It is also a heavily flown route for commercial and the private aircraft heading towards Florida, the Caribbean and the South America from points north.
Origins.
The earliest allegation of unusual disappearances in Bermuda area appeared in September 17, 1950 article published in the Miami Herald by Edward Van Winkle Jones. 2 years later, Fate magazine published Sea Mystery at Our Back Door, a short article by George X. Sand covering the loss of several planes and ships, including the loss of Flight 19, a group of US Navy TBM Avenger bombers on a training mission. Sand's article was the first to lay out the now familiar triangular area where the losses took place. Flight 19 would be covered again in April 1962 issue of American Legion magazine. In it, author Alan Eckert wrote that the flight leader had been heard saying,
"We are entering white water. Nothing seems right. We don't know where we are. The water is green, no white."
He also wrote that officials at the Navy Board of Inquiry stated that the planes flew off to Mars. Sand's article was the first to suggest a supernatural element to the Flight 19 incident. In the February 1964 issue of Argosy, Vincent Geddes' article, The Deadly Bermuda Triangle, argued that the Flight 19 and other disappearances were part of a pattern of strange events in the region. The next year, Geddes expanded his article into a book, Invisible Horizons. Others would follow with their own works, elaborating on Geddes' ideas. John Wallace Spencer, Charles Burlitz, Richard Winner and many others, all keeping to the sum of the same supernatural elements outlined by Eckert.
Explanation attempts and paranormal explanations.
Triangle writers have used a number of supernatural concepts to explain the events. One explanation pins the blame on leftover technology from the mythical lost continent of Atlantis. Sometimes connected to the Atlantis story is the submerged rock formation known as the Bimini Road of the island of Bimini in the Bahamas, which is in the triangle in some definitions. Followers of the purported psychic Edgar Cayce take his prediction that evidence of Atlantis would be found in 1986 as referring to the discovery of the Bimini Road. Believers describe the formation as a road, wall or other structure, but the Bimini Road is of natural origin. Other writers attribute the events to UFOs. This idea was used by Steven Spielberg for his science fiction film Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Natural explanations.
Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream is a major surface current primarily driven by thermal intercalation that originates in the Gulf or Mexico and then flows through the Straits of Florida into the North Atlantic. In essence, it is a river within an ocean, and like a river, it can thus carry floating objects. It has a surface velocity up to about 2.5 meters per second. A small plane making a water landing or a boat having engine trouble can be carried away from its reported position to the current.